Have you ever wondered how the voice actually went through the air when you are listening to a radio? In this video, we are going to break down one of the oldest and most important concepts in communication, amplitude modulation, or AM for short. It was used in the earliest broadcast by Radio Malaya many decades ago, although AM has been replaced by FM for broadcasting in Malaysia. So now let's move on to compare two of the most common types of AM, DSP-FC or double sideband full carrier, as well as DSP-SC, double sideband suppressed carrier. I'm Joshua, and together with my friends Xavier, Jiaming and Tetsung, we are going to make this as easy and visual as possible. Let's start with the basics.
So one day, you're having a chat with your friends, and in this case, sound is a type of pressure wave transmitting from your mouth to her ear. And during the transmission, it actually compresses the air particles. Different patterns of compression form different sound. But sound itself is limited. You cannot hear a sound from far away. So in order to reserve and recreate a voice of sound, we need to convert the compression patterns into a corresponding electric analog signal. But here's the problem. Low frequency signals cannot be transmitted efficiently using a practical antenna. The wavelengths are extremely long, meaning we will need a receiver that is kilometers in size in order to capture the signal clearly. Obviously, that's not practical. Only if we can increase the frequency, then the wavelength will be reduced, and we can capture the signal clearly with a smaller receiver. But can we do that?
The answer is yes, we can do that. The key is amplitude modulation, AM. AM consists of several components. The first one is carrier wave. It is a stable sinusoidal signal with a fixed high frequency. However, it does not contain information on its own. We can imagine it as a lorry which can carry anything. The second is modulating wave. It is the low frequency signal that contains the actual information, like our voice or song. We can notice that its amplitude changes very slowly compared to the carrier, just like a bicycle compared to the lorry. The third is the modulated wave, which is the result of combining the carrier and the modulating wave. Aha! It's just like the lorry carrying the bicycle. You may notice that the outermost edge of the modulated wave resembles modulating wave. The modulated wave preserves the information we would like to share while remaining a high carrier frequency. So that's the exact reason why we can receive the information using radio with just a small antenna.
Alright, it's time to have some math analysis. Let's start with modulating wave, which carries our voice. In actual case, the waveform could be very complicated, but we just simplify it as a sinusoidal wave. The peak of the wave represents the maximum air compression. Vn represents the whole signal. Em is the amplitude, which tells us how strong the signal is, and omega m is the angular frequency, which tells us how fast the wave cycles are. The second is carrier wave. The formula looks exactly the same as the modulating wave, but with different voltage and angular frequency. Generally, carrier signal is stronger and denser compared with modulating signal. So you can notice the formula. Notice that the outermost edge of the modulation wave is controlled by Vm. Now, how do we know if we are modulating it correctly? If m is equal to 0, it means that no message is being sent, just a flat carrier. However, if m is between 0 and 1, it's known as under modulation, which is our safe zone. This is where most real-world text stays to ensure the signal to be clear. If m is perfectly 1, this would be the sweet spot where the wave perfectly fits. This is most efficient, but in reality, it's very hard to keep it perfectly balanced. Lastly, if m is larger than 1, this means overmodulation. This is what we want to avoid. The waves cross over each other, creating distortion. Your voice will sound terrible.
So now, let's look at this from a different perspective. Instead of watching the wave figure over time, we're going to look at its frequency spectrum. As you can see, the carrier is the tallest peak in the center. And then, the output sideband is a smaller peak to the right. Lastly, we can see the lower sideband is actually the smaller peak to the left. So both sidebands show us how we can modify the carrier to send our info. So that's the reason why it's called double sideband full carrier. But what if we suppress the carrier?
Then we got a double sideband suppressed carrier, a DSP-SC for short. Notice something different here? The standalone carrier term is no more, leaving only two sidebands for higher efficiency.
We've talked a lot about DSP-FC and also DSP-SC. But you might be wondering, is AM still relevant today?
Well, the answer is yes. Its ideas live on in Digital Radio Mondiale, or DRM for short, a modern digital replacement for AM broadcasting. At first, DRM was specifically designed to digitalize the AM broadcast bands up to 13 MHz. It has much better audio quality, lower power, and the ability to send text and data alongside audio. In disasters, one DRM transmitter can broadcast emergency alerts and messages over a huge area. For example, in rural regions, people with simple radios can still get news, education, and weather even without internet, because DRM is more power efficient than old analog AM. It helps broadcasters save energy and reduce the environmental impact. So that's all for our video today. Thank you.